I'm recording this video before school, which is very different. Still on my first cup of coffee of the day. This is the second, this is the second video, and it is practice, okay? I told you I wasn't going to leave you guys in the woods. We're going to practice this until you get it right. And don't worry so much about the difference between the change in demand and the change in quantity demanded. If I even put change in quantity demanded on the test, we'll review for it before, but I'm not sure that I've ever seen that show up on the actual AP exam. There's a lot of stuff in your book, in the course, that you learn, including some stuff that I have you learn, that is not going to be on the exam. Anyway, so title your paper this way, and whatever the next page number is, I'm going to send you a list out today and announcements of where I think we are. Anyway, so this is your title. Let me move this up here. This is your title. Okay, better. All right. And now on this next slide, what I want you to do, if you can, is just take your phone out. I hope you're watching this on a computer. Take your phone out and take a picture of this. Now, there's all sorts of different lists of the shifters. And again, this is like the 10th time I've told you this. I don't make my kids memorize these. Okay? I just want you to look at the list, and then let's just make this intuitive. So I'm going to give you 10 scenarios on this assignment. And what you're going to do is you're going to figure out which is being affected. Is it supply or demand? And so what you see on the demand side on the left there is if there's a change in one of these, demand will go up or down. And on the right, if there's a change in one of these, supply will go up or down. And I just want you to know that suppliers want to make money. And so and what they're willing to do is make their products at certain prices as long as they're making the profit. If something happens, let's say to drop their profitability 10%, they're probably going to raise the price of the product 10%. It's not a one-for-one. It's not straight analysis like that. Remember, I'm an accountant teaching an economics class, so two different subjects. Okay, so just take a picture of this with your phone, and then I'm going to do the first one with you. All right, so this is number one. What you're going to do here, let me see here. What you're going to do, boy, it's early in the morning, is you're going to number your paper 1 through 10. Okay, make sure you can see that. Once I put it up front of the screen, I can't see the screen myself. Okay, so you can pause this if you want, but you're going to number your paper 1 through 10, and you're going to make little ones of these, okay? So you're going to put a 1, then you're going to put a little bitty price and quantity graph, okay? And, you know, usually if we're doing a bunch of these, I'll let you put P and Q. But on test day, you got to put price and quantity. But number your paper 1 through 10 and make little boxes with the S and the demand curve, all right? So we're going to do the first one here together. So, and I'll just tell you how this is going to work. I'm still doing this on videos. It's what I tried to do the other day. I'm going to give you the scenario, and then I'll give you the answer. So what I would like for you to do, you can go ahead and do it if you want, if you feel like you know what you're doing, is you go ahead and try to figure out what happens here, move the line, and then in a minute I'll show you how I did it. So let's talk about it first. So this is the market for hockey sticks. I don't know anything about hockey sticks, but does it matter? So what you really ought to do over your little price and quantity, graph here is you ought to put hockey sticks over it. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to put the product up there. I'm not going to take off when you turn this in if you don't do that, because anytime we do a whole bunch of these, I relax the standards a little bit. So this is the market for hockey sticks. Okay? So what happens is, scenario number 1, the storm badly damages the hockey factory. Well, first off, if you like to play hockey, that's the demand thing, and you want a hockey stick, do you care whether or not a storm gets there? I mean, it's not that you don't care. Does that affect your demand? Probably not. If you want a hockey stick, it's just like if you want pancakes and syrup. you don't really care if there's a shortage of maple syrup. You just want pancakes and syrup. So it's not a demand thing. The demand thing will affect whether you want to buy it or not. So this here, because it damages the Ford factory, should have been a clear hint here. This is a supply thing. So if a storm badly damages the hockey factory, what that means is they're not going to be able to produce as many. Maybe they're still open at reduced capacity. But what's going to happen is that's their supply schedule, where they set at a price of 10. I don't think you can buy a hockey stick for $10. Of course, I've never probably even seen one except on TV. If they were willing to make $50,000 for a price of $10, now that their factories are pretty much damaged, they're probably not willing to make $50,000 or not able to. They probably could only make $10,000 at a price of $10. And so the entire supply schedule has to be changed, and all of it, they're going to want more money. And so the supply curve, now think about that. If the hockey factories have been damaged, is going to be an increase in supply or a decrease in supply? And I hope this is intuitive. It is going to be a decrease in supply, which is a shift to the left of the hockey curve. So let me see how I can do this here. All right, so this is what I want you to do in all 10 of them. So you've got this already drawn for all 10 of them. So what you're going to do, if it's a reduction in supply, that is a shift to the left. Now, I hope you can see this. S is now going to become S1, and the second line is going to become S2. Very important, you have to draw this. Okay. And here's what else you're supposed to do. Here was, we're going to go simple today, so I don't overwhelm you with writing. We're just going to put the dot. This is not 100% correct, but it's enough for today. We're going to put a dot here, and we're going to put a new dot up here. And so this arrow has to be there. I'm going to tell you, you will not pass the exam if you don't put these arrows here. What you're showing the person grading your essay is that you understand that supply has gone, this is awkward, supply has gone down, and then what you have over here is EP and EQ. Well, what has happened to the price? What has happened to the equilibrium price? And you're going to draw an arrow going up. It has gone up. Can't tell it's an arrow going up. What has happened to the equilibrium quantity? It has gone down. Okay. And if you had, oh boy, this is not going to be an easy year doing this. If you had shifted, if demand had gone up, this would become D1, this would become D2, arrow going that way. If demand had gone down, it would go this way. I hope you have this now, because I'm not going to draw this for everyone. I'm going to explain this to you. Okay. All right, so that's number one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the Skenarios. I pronounce it right when I get up in the morning. And you are going to try it first on your paper. And then I'm going to tell you what you should have done. I'm going to explain the rationale. Then I'm going to show you what you should have done. And if you got it wrong on your paper, cross it off and draw another one. Okay? So this is practice. Perfect practice makes a perfect game or a perfect test. All right. Number 2. I thought there were numbers on these. Okay. Okay. Here's number 2 right here. So pause the video and try it. Okay, unpause the video here. Market for leather shoes. The price of leather goes up. That's an input. So if the price of leather goes up, if you want leather shoes, you could care less what the price of leather is. You may not even know what leather is. You just know you like the shoes. So if the price of leather goes up, that's not going to affect the demander. It's going to affect the supplier. And this is going to be the same as the last one. It is going to be a reduction in supply. Supply will shift to the left. Okay, moving on to number 3. Here's number 3. Pause it and try it. Okay, unpause it. Salaries in the U.S. begin to rise dramatically. That just means people have more what they call disposable income. So this is the market for new homes. This should be intuitive here for you. I got to quit saying that word. If people all of a sudden have a lot more money, they're more likely to want a new home, so the demand for new homes is going to go up. So D1 is going to shift to the right to D2, and that's going to cause the equilibrium price to go up and the equilibrium quantity to go up. Number 4, the market for forward pickup trucks. Now remember, you're going to pause it, try it, and then look at the answer. Market for forward pickup trucks. Scenario number 4, because of fears of global warming, U.S. government raises taxes by a large amount on truck manufacturers. So remember, when you have a business, they have a target profit they're trying to make. It's called profit margin. Let's say they want to make 20% for every truck they sell. Well, if the government comes in and raises taxes on them, they're going to have to, if they want to make 20%, raise the price of their trucks. It's called passing the price along to the consumer. Now, this is an interesting point for you to learn here. You need to learn that when the government raises taxes, it's going to drop demand. So this is actually going to hurt Ford. And if you think it through, it's going to hurt the consumer. Because somebody who needs a Ford pickup truck for their business is now going to have to pay more. So what are they going to do? Whatever their business is, if they're trying, let's say they're cutting lawns and they're using a Ford truck to pull around their equipment, they're now going to have to pay more money for the Ford truck. What are they going to do? They're going to raise the price of the cost of lawns. So there's a ripple effect, but I'm getting ahead of the game by explaining that to you. So that is going to cause a reduction in supply, which is a shift to the left. Equilibrium price goes up. Equilibrium quantity goes down. Now I'm going to quit explaining the equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity. I want you to trust the graph. The key thing for you to do is for you to learn which line to shift. Okay? My brother is a pilot, and I love stories of World War I aviation. And he would tell me stories about pilots that were flying after dark, and they would be upside down and not know it. We learned in scuba diving, my wife and I, we took our scuba diving classes. If you're doing a night dive, boy, night dives are fun because you can only see where your flashlight is pointing. Jaws could be right here next to you and you wouldn't know it. But we learned that if you're ever down at 100 foot or whatever, and you're running out of air and you need to go up, sometimes you can't tell which way is up because the moon is not out. And so what some people do is they get in a panic and they start swimming up, or they think they're swimming up and they're swimming down. So what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to stop swimming and watch which way your bubbles will go. Your bubbles will always go up. And even if you think that direction is down, you must trust the bubbles. And pilots learn to trust the instruments. And we recently had a very well-known helicopter crash where apparently somebody wasn't reading their instruments right, is the way I understand it. Anyway, my point is, I'm not going to explain equilibrium of price and quantity for every single one. You're going to figure out which line moves, and then you're going to move the correct line. All right, I'm going to pick up the pace here. Turkey tacos. I don't even know what the heck turkey tacos are. I made it up. There probably is no such thing. They become trendy, and everybody wants to eat them several times a week. Pause. Okay, unpause. That's a demand thing. It's a fad. Demand goes up. Remember, D1 to D2. Market 6, purple sunglasses. The government is considering a ban on purple sunglasses. I guess they caused COVID or something. Oh, because they've become so trendy. This is a stupid example, but I was in a hurry and it was late last night when I wrote these. So this morning it doesn't make any sense. It didn't make any sense last night either, to be honest with you. Government's banning, considering a ban. Oh, this is an expectations one. And so basically, because the government may ban them, what are people going to do now who really like them? They're going to go buy them. This happens every time there's a hint of gun control. I didn't see when there's a hint on gun control that the sale of guns goes up. Apparently, at the DNC last night, I didn't watch it. Apparently, there was a speech about that. I don't know, or video. And I would imagine that gun sales will go up today. I'm not saying if it's right or wrong, but any time an expectation is they're going to stop making something that's popular, demand will go up. Moving on. 7, suntan lotion. This, I was kind of grasping at straws here at the end. Suntan lotion. Beach condo rentals drop dramatically in price. The theory is here that I came up with is that they are complements. If your beach condo is going down, a lot more people are going to go rent them, and they're going to be laying out by the beach, and so suntan lotion will go up. So demand will go up. Scenario 8. This is the idea that chicken sandwiches and hamburgers are substitutes. Now, of course, for some people, they're not. Didn't Wendy's run out of hamburgers here in Apopka last March and April when they shut the schools down? I'm pretty sure they did. There were signs up. Maybe it was the other way around. Maybe it was chicken they ran out of. But some of these restaurants, there was only one kind of sandwich you could get. And for a long time, you'd go by and on the sign, they'd have taped on the sign, "We're out of this." All right, so if the price of hamburgers goes up, that will cause the demand for chicken to go up. Scenario number 9. And this is actually a quite common example. A subsidy is the opposite of the tax. That is where the government gives a business money to make something. So they're giving solar panel companies $1,000 for every panel they make. And so if you want a solar panel, that doesn't affect you directly. This is affecting the companies. So this is an increase in supply, which is a shift to the right. Now you're going to learn that an increase in supply is the best thing in the world, because not only does the price go down, I'm giving you the answer here, I said I wasn't, but the quantity goes up. It is a win-win. And I hope I'm not going too fast and messing these up. Another sip of coffee. One more. A tariff is a tax on a good, on an import. So if you want a Honda motorcycle, you don't care what the government thinks about it. So this is not really a demand thing. So here's the way it works. In Jacksonville, these huge ships coming up in Jacksonville, Florida, and they're loaded with motorcycles. So what happens is they come in and they got to pass U.S. Customs. The custom guy goes out and he says there's 100 Honda motorcycles on this boat. This is kind of how it works, not exactly. And so if that boat is bringing in 100 Honda motorcycles, somebody, I used to think it was Honda that had to pay it. I think maybe it's the American businesses that have to pay it. Somebody has to give the U.S. government $1,000 for each one. So what that means is that is going to damage the seller's profit margin. So they're going to raise the price of Hondas approximately $1,000 a motorcycle to maintain their profit margin. So this is not a demand thing. It is a supply thing. And this is a reduction in supply, which is a shift to the left, which is, I don't know remember if I've said this before, that's a lose-lose. Price goes up and the number sold goes down. Anyway, I hope these make sense. I think we're going to have a test sometime next week. I haven't figured out exactly how. This morning I think a lot and ponder how I'm going to do it. I think I've come up with a way for us to do this. Because we have so many students in my 2 classes, and some of you are going to be in class and some of you are going to be at home, there's probably going to be like 10 different versions of the exam. And so you're probably going to need to, the exams are probably going to be short. So you're probably going to get like 10 questions for your exam. I prefer you giving like 40 or 50. I don't ever give 100. That's too much in an econ class. But anyway, just they will be like this, and they will be pretty simple, and try to think about this. And, all right, so sorry I was so having such a hard time talking. It's too early in the morning.